Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1983 Detroit Tigers season replay. It is now officially the end of May, and we will be taking a look at the standings through the end of the month. Plus, we'll take a few moments and look over the league leaders for the American League and the National League. Let's start by taking a look here at the American League standings. Yeah, we came off of a weird month. We went 16-11. We lost our last game earlier today. 5 games over 500. We played a lot of road games, and I kind of feel like the month of May was our month of reckoning, where we sort of fell back to the group a little bit. We are now 5 games up on New York and 9 games up on Baltimore. Boston and Cleveland are 10.5 back. Toronto and Milwaukee are pretty much out of the race already. And if you've played this game long enough, you know that somehow when you're playing at the Mogul level, they will find a way for you to have a competition with some team in your division down the stretch. So I feel like that's probably going to be the Yankees. Baltimore has suffered some injuries. Boston at 500 is probably going to be there down the stretch. And Cleveland, who just beat us today, actually looks like a pretty good team, but they're not going to be around. They will at some point fall off the 500 pace that they're on right now. So we're above average in batting average. We are number 1 in all of baseball in home runs. We're number 1 in the American League in stolen bases, and we're number 2 in the AL in ERA. So pitching is not really our problem, despite having 2 significant injuries to our starters. It's our hitting that I'm really concerned about. Now we're batting .270, which is pretty decent, and we clearly have pop, and we have some, speed, led by Ricky Henderson. But I just don't feel confident that we have 1 through 9 a quality lineup. So we're going to take a look at those guys in just a moment here. You see here in the West, California has a 5.5 game lead over Seattle, and you know they're going to be there. They've struggled out of the gate, but they are a solid team. They won the division last year. Oakland and every other team below it are under 500. None of those teams, I think, are particularly good. Oakland has the best pitching staff. Minnesota, I have no idea how they're in 4th place. That is maybe a testament to just how terrible the teams below them are. Maybe the biggest surprise in all of the American League is just how horrible Chicago is this season. They made a run at the end of last year where they got within striking distance of Seattle. They surpassed Kansas City, who finished in 3rd. So, nonetheless, not a good team. And California and Seattle are definitely the pride of the American League West. Let's take a look at the National League real quick. The Mets, it feels like they've been there in first for a while now. And then all the other teams from Philadelphia to St. Louis have sort of flip-flopped back and forth. It looks like now Montreal and Chicago, Philadelphia, all within 4 games, and those might be the only teams that are going to give a run to try to beat New York in the American League East. St. Louis, trading Steve Kemp, really a big deal because he has, I believe he has 49 RBI through May and leading all of baseball, and they could have really used him clearly. Pittsburgh, they're out of it. Take a look at the West. Atlanta and Los Angeles making a lot of trades, giving themselves a chance to maybe pull away with this division. San Diego, I don't know how they're doing it. They've had so many pitching injuries. I guess they must have some decent depth that allows them to stay in the race. San Francisco just traded Jack Clark, and they're only 6.5 games back. They're not in bad shape. The player that replaced Jack Clark is Chris Bourgeois, who was the everyday player last year in right field, and he lost his job when I switched Jack Clark from being a third baseman to a right fielder. So he was the odd man out. And then they traded Clark, and now Bourgeois is back in there, batting .327. So that actually could be an improvement, perhaps in the long run for the Giants. Cincinnati, they won the division last year. They won the World Series last year, right? They won over Seattle, and here they are in dead last, the second worst record in the National League, and they've just suffered so many injuries. They have two pitchers that are still on the IL, including the big unit. I don't know if he's going to come back to the majors or not. I don't know. And Mario Soto. So some tough injuries there for Cincinnati, and I would not be surprised to see them maybe trade off some of their pieces. Kim Allen, the speedster, he had 30 stolen bases. I really thought that he was going to be able to get 100 stolen bases this year. He got so close last year with 97, and he's at 30, and then he got injured for a month. So he's still got 19 days, so that's not going to happen for him. Okay, so I guess the next thing I'd like to take a look at, if I wasn't doing this for you, this is something I would have done for myself anyway. I'm just kind of curious. Let's take a look at the trades for the month of May. And there's a lot. And are there any that are making a difference? We've made the Chet Lemon deal in April, and we didn't give up any. I mean, there's a bunch of names here we gave up, but we didn't give up anything of note to really get Chet Lemon. He hasn't helped us much. He did just have a good series versus Milwaukee, so maybe he could turn the corner. Then we traded Chuck Carey to St. Louis, and this has turned out to be a great deal for us. We got Terry Kennedy, who is now our starting catcher over Lance Parrish, and Roy Thomas has been great in relief. He has yet to give up a run, and Mike Paggs will be maybe a third baseman of the future for us. So that was a great deal. We gave up a couple $100,000 in that deal, but we can't argue with that. Now this is where things get a little wonky. If you look here, Atlanta traded Milt Thompson to the Mets, and of these three players, the one that you would not think would be in the majors is the only one that is. That's Ron Gardenhire. He is their shortstop, and he's hitting pretty well, batting .338. Milt Thompson went to the Mets, and he's only played in 5 games, so I think he's riding the bench because the Mets have made like 3 trades for center fielders. We'll see some more here shortly. Here's a deal that didn't mean anything for Atlanta. I don't understand what they did there. A really bizarre deal. Here's where the Mets got their second center fielder, Mike Hart. It looks like he is their everyday player. He's batting .256 for them in center field. Very, very strange. And then a couple catchers get traded here. The Cubs get Ed Putman, former Detroit Tiger, who got a chance to start every day for Oakland. He batted .215, so not great. And then Oakland gets a future starting catcher with Matt Noakes. And then Atlanta, another deal here. Atlanta, this was a good deal for Atlanta. They trade Rick Mailer, who hasn't pitched in the majors since 1979. He did have a 1983 baseball card, though. So he was pitching in real life. And they sent him to Toronto. And Toronto gives up Lynn Jones, who is now the everyday right fielder for the Braves, batting .265. And Mitch Webster, who's going to be the center fielder of the future. He's in Double-A right now, so that's just crazy. A couple other schlubs in there. And then Atlanta makes another trade. Atlanta, they have been the busiest. They trade Ken Phelps, power-hitting first baseman to the Cubs, and he's in Triple-A. And in return, they get a starting left fielder. They get Jeff Burrows, who was batting .344 for the Cubs, among the league leaders, as you'll see here momentarily. And I don't know if he's an everyday player for them or not. I guess he would be. So he's 6 for 22, no home runs for the Braves. And they also got Lamp. I love Lamp. Traded to the Bravos, AAA now. And then came this insignificant deal of the Cubs giving up George Riley. He's a AA pitcher. And in return, Minnesota sends the Cubbies Mark Corey. And then here's our big deal that just went down. We traded Andre Dawson to Houston for Joaquin Andahar. Andahar pitched today's game. He was horrible. So let's hope he got, just working out the kinks there. Dawson, not going to be in their everyday lineup. He's played in 2 games so far, but he is not a starter. He's actually on their bench. And I think that says a lot. If you take a look at his stats here, maybe 1 full season's worth of at-bats, and he is roughly around a 600 OPS. That is not Andre Dawson. I don't know what his problem is in this game. It may have very well been due to when we started our sim, which was 1980. It may be due to the fact that Montreal didn't have, their money spent well under their budget for training and improving and scouting and all that stuff. So maybe he just didn't develop. But he would not have played much in 1982 if it wasn't for the fact that we lost so many bats that season. So he was forced into regular play, and he was pretty bad despite driving in 74 runs. So we're not going to miss him. Bruce Robbins, he did become their number 5 starter. He did have 1 start, and he gave up 9 runs. 9 ERA, 5 runs in 5 innings pitched. So he's not off to a good start either. He goes to arbitration. He's only 23, and he's got good ratings. So he could be a player that helps them in the future. And then they threw in Rich Gedman as a kicker, who is a great defensive catcher. His arm's an 86. He's in AA. We're going to give him some at-bats in AA and move him up to AAA next year. And who knows, he might even make the team. And then finally, the last trade was Jack Clark. As we just saw, he's going to the Dodgers. He's their right fielder. He's only got into 1 game so far and took an offer. So that's a good deal for the Dodgers. And the Giants got really 2 potential quality players, Candy Maldonado and Sid Bream. Some guy named Mark Higgins is in there. So, okay, so I just wanted to take a look at those and kind of recap. Let's go ahead and take a look at the leaders. Here we go, American League leaders. We're going to start off with batting average. We're going to do all the hitters, and then we'll do all the pitchers, okay, for the American League, and then we'll just quickly look at National League. Okay, so, wow, a little bit of a surprise. Juan Bonilla, we just saw him this morning for the Indians. He's batting .345. He's only age 27. I don't think you would have thought that he would be the leader in batting average. Fenway Park playing really well for right-handers, as Roy Smalley and Jim Rice are 2nd and 3rd in batting average. And Gino Petralli, of course, playing half of his games at home in Exhibition Stadium, where left-handers are 100% more likely to hit home runs. So he's number 4 hitter, batting .329. And then Sticky Mickey's got a .327. The top 10 is rounded out by Hoskin Powell of Minnesota, Dennis Worth of the Yankees, Robin Yount and Wayne Krenchicki of Baltimore, and then Lloyd Mosby of Toronto. And you see a couple other Tigers in there. Wade Boggs batting .294, down in the 25th spot. I'm sure he'll come on strong. Next, let's take, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's take a look, out of curiosity, at bats. Rod Allen, rookie for the White Sox. He has the most at-bats. Okay. No Tigers in there because we've been doing a good job of giving people rest. Let's take a look at doubles. Harold Reynolds of Seattle has 21 through the first 2 months. That's pretty good. I think that's impressive. Garth Orge. You're going to see a lot of Boston people in there. And Chet Lemon between 2 teams. He's got 12. Okay. Who led the American League last year? It was Alan Bannister. He had 57 doubles last year. He's got 14 so far this year. So, okay, let's move on to the next category. Grounding into double plays. Is Lance Parrish on here? No, but there's no Tigers. That's because I hit and run now. I try to avoid those DPs at all costs. Seems like that works for us. Extra base hits. Yeah, no Tigers. But Steve Kemp, absolutely crushing it. We're going to look at him a little bit more in depth later. Here is games played. Yeah. Brian Dayette of the Yankees has 55. So one more than everybody else. Hits. Juan Bonilla leading the American League in hits with 70. It's always funny to see these odd names. I mean, yes, it makes sense that Jim Rice and Carney Lansford and even Lloyd Mosby's there. It's a stretch for Romberg or Bonilla or even Mickey Hatcher, Mike Brown, Jim Lindemann, who's a rookie for Texas this year. There's Robin Yount. There's the nozzle, Tom Pagnozzi. Shooty Babbitt. So, yeah, I mean, this is amazing. Like Tim Corcoran, who's a left-handed hitter in Toronto, he has 58 hits. That's probably more career hits, more hits in his right here than in his entire career. It's kind of remarkable. Okay, what else we got here? We have hit by pitch. Yeah, not a lot of getting hit by a pitch here, but Rod Allen, of all players, is number 1 with his teammate Fran Mullins and Dennis Worth. Home runs. This is a really interesting list here of 25. Like you have Lloyd Mosby, who got out to a huge start. He had 3 home runs in a ball game. And when did he hit his last home run? Yeah, it's been like 10 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. It's been since he hit a home run, and it was in Milwaukee. No, it was at home. So, yeah, he has not hit a home run since then, and he's only batting .240, so he needs to get home and have another homestand. I don't know if the game is trying to let everyone catch up to him or if that's just where he's going to max out this year. But it's weird to see 2 White Sox hitters back-to-back. Rod Allen, again, he's a rookie with 12 homers. And then Ron Kittle, who was among the league leaders last year with 32. Yeah, I was trying to remember if he was the league leader, but I think it was that Ricardo Sainz guy, who is not even in the top 25 as of right now. Murray's got 10 home runs, good for him. Sweet Lou's got 9, a little bit of a surprise there. Leon Roberts. Texas must have a stadium that is playing small. Okay, let's see who else we have here. Other categories. Again, we're just looking at batters. Intentional walks. Von Hayes of Cleveland has 3. A couple of Tigers in there. I'm sure we've issued a few of those ourselves. Maybe to Lloyd Mosby, who absolutely has taken us out behind a woodshed on base percentage. Ricky Henderson, number 1. Wow. He does walk a lot. We have him in the number 2 spot. And we're doing the best we can to manage him and giving him enough rest because when he got injured last year, that was when we fell apart. We managed to hang in there long enough to make the playoffs, but losing Ricky was a big deal, and he's such an integral part of our offense that if he has to miss 1 or 2 games a week intentionally, then that's what we're going to do. Here's Ricardo Sainz. How many home runs does he have? He's only got 6 this year after leading all of baseball last year. So that could be a reason why the Mariners aren't in first place just yet. Taking a look at the rest of the on-base percentage there. Some typical names is Wade Boggs right there. Next, let's see here. What were we looking at? On-base percentage. Offense. I really don't. Yeah, let's look at OPS. John Harris of California. There's a Ricky and Mickey and Sweet Lou. Plate appearances. Okay, Shooty Babbitt. That's weird. Ribbies. Steve Kemp's got 50 RBI, and he doesn't have a tremendous lead. He's only got a 6 lead over the rookie Jim Lindemann. He's got 50 RBI in 51 games, and that might be a big part of what's keeping the Yankees so close to us, because we did have a 10-game lead at one point this season already. Jim Lindemann, here's a rookie for the Rangers, and wait a minute. They have him down in single A. That's it. They said, we'll give you 200 at-bats, and we're going to send you to single A? He's not injured either. That doesn't make sense. Well, we'll take a look at that before we finish up today. That's crazy. Tony Brewer, Lloyd, Mickey Hatcher, 38 RBI in 47 games. He had 100 last year. Mickey Hatcher, he's going to arbitration. He's going to ask for too much money. We probably won't be able to keep him. And then Eddie Murray, who was absolutely on a fire out of the gate. He was right there pacing. Well, at one point, he was leading the team in RBI. But he's really fallen off, and his batting average has dipped. And, before the season started, it was my plan to trade Dawson and Murray, because Murray was terrible last year for us. I mean, a sub-600 OPS. And I'm like, there's no way, if that's who he is in this game, he can't help us. Just like Dawson, we'll get rid of him. But he's hit reasonably well. Maybe what you would expect Eddie Murray to do. And now I feel like we have to keep him. And because of that, right or wrong, because of that, Greg Brock is not getting to play regularly. So I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Anyway, there's your RBI leaders. Let's move on to runs scored. Sweet Lou is leading in runs scored. That makes sense. 26-year-old, he has 45 runs scored. Ricky's got 36. He'd probably be number one if we didn't give him so much rest. Dennis Littlejohn, he's a leadoff hitter, catcher leadoff, batting leadoff. That's crazy. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Sack hits. It's two Tigers. Giselars, who's in AAA, and Lou, who we don't typically like to bunt with, but I guess he's getting the job done, so there you go. And a bunch of other light-hitting guys, as you might expect. What about sack flies? Chet Lemon has 4. Eddie Murray's got 3, but the leader is Rod Craig of Seattle, as well as Dave Henderson, Steve Kemp, a couple Texas guys. Okay. I don't really care about slugging. Let's take a look at steals. Ricky's got a 1 stolen base lead over Gary Pettis. Otis Nixon right there at 30, and then it kind of drops off to a second tier with Rusty McNeely and Omar Marino. And then you've got Willie Wilson. He's out for a while, right? Yeah, so Wilson's done for the season. Harold Reynolds, Mike Felder, who just took over for Chet Lemon, so he's got a little bit of room to make up. But he's off to a good start. And you can see the stragglers here. No Alan Trammell, no Kirk Gibson. But Ricky's getting the job done. What about steal success? Mike Davis, of these 5, Jim Traber. Who do you think of these 5 have the most without getting caught? I'm going to say, maybe it's in order. Let's say Mike Davis. 6-0. Garth Orge. No, let's go look at Jim Traber. Oh, 5-0 for a first baseman. That's crazy. Okay. So still Mike Davis. Let's take, let's say Rick Manning's not there. Yeah, 5-0. I'm thinking it's going to be Garth Orge. We're going to take a look at John Moses of Seattle. He's 5-0. And Garth Orge is 5-0. So it is in order. Okay, well, there you go. All right. Strikeouts. Who's striking out? I would have guessed Pagel, but it's actually Ron Kittle. No Tigers on there. That's kind of a surprise, right? It feels like they strike out all the time, but I think it's also because we don't walk, other than Ricky Henderson. We definitely don't take enough pitches. If there was a way in this mode that I play in, if there was a way that I could say take more pitches, I would definitely choose to do that. Okay, triples, I guess, out of curiosity. Dennis Worth, what? The Brock Ness Monster, Gibby are on the list. Walks. So, Clint Hurdle, like, where did this come from? He did have 76 last year in his first full season, playing 160 games. He's got a 372 on-base percentage because of all those walks. No home runs. How do you go from 22 home runs to none? And suddenly you're a walking machine. That is crazy, right? That doesn't make any sense. He went from 0 to 22 to 0. Oh, he had 7 with Kansas City. That is one of the most insane stats you'll see in this ball game. I have no idea what that's about, but that's kind of cool. All right, let's see. And then, yeah, Ricky's right there. Otto. Cecil Fielder. Tim Nord, who we saw today. Let's see what else here. Okay, so let's take a look out of curiosity. I feel like this is already taking longer than I anticipated. Let's check out our catchers in runners thrown out. Lance Parrish has 15. He's among the league leaders, and he's playing part-time now. Terry Kennedy, we just brought him up. He's thrown out 6 runners so far, and his fielding percentage is 40%. Not fielding percentage, but caught stealing percentage is 40. What's Lance Parrish? 34, which is almost equal to his best mark in the sim. And Bobby Ramos, who's toiling away in AAA, this was 42%, so he's good. Brian Harper's thrown out the most. What is his percentage? 37%. Okay. What about outfield assists? There we go. Just from a defensive perspective. Dave Henderson, that makes sense. He's got a rifle. Freddie Lynn, Gold Glover. Jim Rice, he's got a noodle arm. People are testing him. Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got 3, and Chet Lemon's got 3. Yeah, I mean, Rick Manning's got a Gold Glove. Clydell Washington, yeah. So, Ron Kittle, no. Okay, let's look at pitchers. Let's look at pitchers real quick. We're just going to go in order here. Complete games. Dennis Leonard of Kansas City and Bill Paschal. Those are pitchers who've got to go all the way. They have no bullpen. And Alan Ramirez of Baltimore. Of course, no Tigers are on that list. And then we're going to look at ERA. Teddy Higuera, he just cleaned our clock the other day. Did not get the win. He went the distance with Jack Morris, in fact. The game was decided in extra innings, but it was a good matchup. And so the top 10 are all at 3 runs or under, and 3 of them are from Detroit, and Bert is done for the year, so we aren't going to see him again. He'll eventually be disqualified based on innings. Yeah, the 25th pitcher is over 4, which is interesting. So, okay, what else we got here? We don't care about that. Games pitched. All Detroit? Yeah. Well, yeah, it's no surprise it's Dave Rucker. Roger Weaver's in the minors. Everybody else has been sent to the minors on our team for a 10-day stint. That is my methodology for making sure our relievers have enough rest to get through the year without getting blown up or injured. And I don't know. It seems to work. That's my process. And our closer, Roger Weaver, is right now in AAA. I think he'll be back in 6 days or something like that. Grounded into double plays induced. No Tigers, but Larry McCall's got 16. He also might have the most home runs given up. Let's see here. Hit batters. Floyd Bannister and John Matlack of the White Sox have 5. Scooching around. Innings pitched. How is Jack... See, Jack Morris has only 1 complete game, but he really should have 3 more, basically. And yet, we're on a 5-man rotation, and some of these other teams are on 4. And that's why he's not further up. But if we were to take a look at innings per 9, I think he would be right up there. Oh, here it is, innings per game. Yeah, number 11 overall. So, there you go. Let's see. I don't care about any of that. Particularly quality starts. Jack has 9. Stephon Weaver's got 11. Langston and Slagle right there with 10. And saves. So Doug Corbett of Minnesota has 13. Mark Clear, Bruce Sutter, Tom Hankey, the Terminator, and then Roger Weaver, followed by Victor Cruz, Carlos Diaz, Bob Gibson, not that Bob Gibson, the other Bob Gibson, Dennis Eckersley, Steve Centeni, Goose, and Dave Rucker. It's kind of our left-handed closer. So, all right. Cool. What else we got here? Shutouts. Teddy Guerra, he started the season out with back-to-back shutouts in his first 2 starts. And there's 3 others, including former Tiger Mike Chris, who we traded away in the 1980 season for Bob Stanley and Carlton Fisk, which that deal worked out terribly. But it also brought us Gary Hancock, who was our team MVP in 1980. Okay. Strikeouts pitched. Mark Langston with 84. Ed Halicki, he was cruising 9-1 on the year, and he had a 14 strikeout game, did he not? Yeah, his second start was 14, and he just was running it until Texas crushed him in his last start number 12. And Jack Morris is there, but again, Blyleven, he's done. Morris has not been looking great from the strikeout perspective lately, but he's still been effective. Strikeouts per 9. Jack is number 11. Dave Rozema, wow, 5.55. Not a strikeout pitcher. And wins. Ed Halicki, Mark Langston, Roger Slagle. And Jack Morris, number 8 with 7. Actually tied for 5th, I suppose, or whatever that is. Okay, that's going to do it for the American League. Let's take a look just really quick at a couple categories for the National League. Just the primary things that we all want to know about. Julio Franco of Philadelphia leading the National League with a .345 batting average. 10 points up on Jeff Burrows for Atlanta. And will he, start every game? I don't know. It looks like he is. Okay. So that's good. Maybe he'll compete. Former Tiger Mark DeJohn. We didn't even give him a chance in the majors. He comes over to the National League, batting .331 for the Gigantes. Johnny Ray, you see with your own eyes right there. 3 Montreal batters right in a row. Home runs, we want to know that, right? Jim Beswick, who's done for this season. Oh, no, he's only out for 88 days, so he's not completely done for the season. But this hairy fool is leading the National League in home runs with 12. He's going to be out for a little while longer. Just a bunch of weird names in the National League. I don't know how that happens, but Dave Winfield makes sense. And I'm sure Tony Gwynn, if he wanted to, he could probably hit 40 home runs a year if that was his game, but that's not what he does. Jeff Burrows, Bill Madlock, Kirby Puckett, Gary Ward, Steve Henderson had some pop. Yeah, but otherwise, just a bunch of schlubs. Let's take a look at Ribbies in the National League. Glenn Gulliver, another former Tiger. Think of what a team we would have if we had kept these guys instead of trading them. He's been great since coming over to the Cubbies. He had 111 walks last year. And he's got a .416 on-base percentage this year. Nice. So Glenn Gulliver and a bunch of schlubs. Not Dave Parker. Dave Parker's the man. Dave Winfield. Stolen bases. Where's that at? Steals. Right there. I don't know how the alphabet works. Okay, yeah, Kim Allen. He still holds the lead. Maybe he'll have it in 19 days when he comes back from the IL. I'm sure he's going to recapture it. And you can see the other speedsters. A lot of fast guys on that list there. All right, let's look at pitchers real quick, and we'll wrap this baby up. We'll take a look at Texas also real quick. Let's look at ERA. Juan Eichelberger, he missed a couple starts. Yeah, he did. He's out for 4 more days with a dislocated shoulder. Bill Gullickson. Cincinnati, I mean, if they stay healthy, at least you're getting the job done, not giving up runs. Joaquin Andahar still technically qualified in the National League. ERA, let's take a look at wins. Larry Christensen and Rick Ownby have 9. John DeQuisto has 8. And some Atlanta guys. I mean, not a lot going there. Let's take a look at strikeouts pitched. J.R. Richard with 91. Way up. He's got 19, 19 more? I can't do math. But yeah, 18 more than Rick Ownby. So what else we got here? And Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan is a bummer. He's a 79, 2-2. He is still in the rotation, but you know, he is basically. I won't say he's toast, but like his rating is so low, and he pitched for another 10 years. So I feel kind of bad about that. And we'll look at saves. Bedrock. Steve Bedrosian's got 12. And there's Al Holland, Bob James, Jesse Orozco, Lee Smith. All in the top 10 there. So, okay, well, that's going to do it for the league leaders. Let's, out of curiosity, let's go ahead and take a look at Texas. And what did they do with their rookie who was leading, or among the league leaders? They sent him to the minors to Single A. Who's playing first base? Pete O'Brien. Oh, who's the DH? Okay, Otto Valise. But he was in left field. So they're going to give the job to a guy named Tom Dunbar, who had 82 at-bats last year. He does have power. For a guy that was crushing it, that makes no sense. I do like the fact that the game changed its configuration to make that happen. And Jim Lindemann is rated a 78, like for right now. So technically, Pete O'Brien is better. Technically, Otto Valise is better. But did they make their team better? I mean, I guess Dunbar is their highest rated batter, technically. I don't know. But, like, keep him on the bench. He's got to be better than Chris Spire, who's a 65. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Former Tiger Bryn Smith, 5-5. Okay, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. We have in the month of June coming up. Let's advance it to June. And on the June 9th, we have the amateur draft coming. So that'll be following this series against the Indians. So that day, before I start the Indians game, we'll have a draft preview where we'll take a look at what there is to offer in the draft and what we need. We need a little bit of everything. We've traded away a lot of our minor league players. So, okay, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to come back tomorrow with the first game of June, second game of the 3-game series with the Indians. Until then, everyone, have a great night.